Hey, you feel that? You are now tuned into You Feel That with Bryce the Third. Yo, and welcome to You Feel That with Bryce the Third, the best podcast there is for high-level entrepreneurs looking to learn to master their emotions. Here's where we learn to become compassionate, understanding servant leaders, one episode at a time. I am, of course, your host, Bryce the Third, and the big question is this: how do I, as an ambitious entrepreneur, learn how to master my emotions in a way that allows me to continuously show up and do the next scary thing that could potentially take my career and life to the next level? Today's episode is super special. I don't know if you listen to the podcast on whatever you listen to the podcast on, or if you watch the podcast on YouTube. But if you watch the podcast on YouTube, you've probably come accustomed to this studio that we've been in. To be honest with you, this studio is a closet in my 2-bedroom apartment that I tricked out because I didn't have the resources. No, let's not say that I didn't have the resources. I learned how to utilize the resources at my fingertips, and so therefore I tricked out my living room closet and turned it into a studio. So look behind you, you see the pictures behind you, you see the lights, this area, this energy that we become accustomed to. This will be the very last podcast that I record in this space. That's right, I'm getting a new studio because I'm moving to a new spot. And that new spot that I'm moving to has a bigger studio, and I think we're going to be able to do some cooler things with it. So that is numero uno, why this episode is a special one. Numero two, that this episode is a special one, is that if you're listening to this podcast, the day it comes out, it is June 21st. That means tomorrow is the 22nd, which means it will be my 33rd birthday. And I'm super excited about it. If you're hearing this in real time, I'll actually be out of town. I'll be in California at this meditation retreat on the grounds of Spirit Rock, which is this legendary meditation space. A spiritual father of mine, Ram Dass, used to teach there. And through the universe conspiring in my favor, I ended up with a spot at one of these meditation retreats. And I will be there on my birthday. I will turn 33 there. So that's my experience right now. As you're listening to this podcast, that's what I'm doing right now currently. And since this is my birthday episode, and it is the last episode that we'll be recording, not the last episode you'll see because I've done a lot of pre-recording, but the last episode that we'll be recording in this space, I think it's the perfect opportunity to talk about the importance of the experience. Nothing comes second to having the experience. So even thinking about being in this studio, like I remember when I first had the prospect of being in the studio, I was almost like disappointed, like, damn, like this studio is so small. How am I going to do the things that I need to do in the studio? I didn't even see it as a studio. It just was a broom closet. And so like, I'm like, dang, I wish I could have such and such and such. I wish I could do such and such and such. But what I've learned is that it's important for me to do the thing with what I have, which equips me to be able to be ready for when bigger things come. But I have to lead with the action. I have to lead with the experience. A lot of times, like, we'll dig into books and courses and listen to what people say and really subscribe to the process of being shown or being taught or having things. But I think the most important thing that we could do is digging into using the things that we're shown, using the tools that we have, using the knowledge that we receive in a way that allows for us to stir some energy up in our lives. Like it's a science experiment almost. Like life is the best experiment in the world. And the only way that we cultivate wisdom is by participating in life. Every year on Instagram, around my birthday, I would come and I would leave a message on my birthday, or I would do a video to kind of recap what it is that I've learned. And I think this year I'm super big on not a word I say will be able to trump the experience that you have. A real good book that I've mentioned in this podcast is Food for the Heart by Ajahn Chah. And there's a sentence in that book that really summarizes the whole book. The book is like bigger than a Bible, and it just came to me in a season of my life where I really I read it like I was a thirsty man with a cup of water. Like it really hit that point. Food for the Heart is really like an on-point title for this book. But there's a sentence in there that says, the wise must know for themselves. The wise must know for themselves. And for those of you who have tuned into this podcast to hopefully get some suggestions, hopefully grab some tools to be able to apply in your life, the tools are the least important and the application in your life is the most important. Nothing trumps experience. So whatever it is that you want to do, like, do it. In the case of this studio, like, this studio wouldn't even have been a studio had I not had, okay, let me see how I could do multiple angles with my camera. What constitutes as a camera that's good for me to do what it is that I want to do visually with the podcast? What's a good mic that's affordable? And then after I use that affordable mic for so long, like how can I step my game up and then move to the next one? I think a big journey and lesson for me has been, because I'm the type, I want a quantum leap. I want a quantum leap. I want the end result now. So I've previously in my life gotten the biggest, baddest thing, spent all my little money to get the craziest equipment. But what I learn every time I do that is when I get it, I don't know how to use it. That's because the craziest equipment is only the craziest equipment for people who have the craziest skill. And the craziest skill is only cultivated by living a life, by digging into life and utilizing the resources at your fingertips. That's why we have these resources at our fingertips. But a lot of times we don't see these resources, because our mindset is set on, I need that over there. I'm so focused over there that I can't even see what it is that I have access to right here in front of my face. You know, it's kind of like that saying where they say, like, why are you paying attention to somebody else's plate? You letting your food get cold. You know, so learning to pay attention to what is advantageous in my life. What comparative advantage do I have? Well, Bryce, I don't have a comparative advantage. I bet you do. But I bet you compare so much yourself to other people that you're looking at what they got and what they're doing that you're not able to pay attention to what it is that's unique and special about you. There is something unique and special about your circumstance. Napoleon Hill says I'm gonna butcher this, but he says, like, every problem in life comes implanted in it the seed of its solution. So a lot of times, like, even like poverty, for me, poverty or hardship, like inside of each and every one of those things, like there was something that turned me into the person that could show up and speak to you today. Like there's certain things that if I didn't go through, if I didn't have that experience, I could say words all day, but when I say the words, you would look me in my eye and say, you don't have no experience with that. Because there's less about what it is that we say and more about who it is that we are. So all of the things that somebody would have considered hardship and all of the things that when I was going through them, maybe I complained about them, those things were necessary to equip me to be able to have this platform and teach you in such a way that you receive what it is that I'm giving you. Because the experience is the most important aspect of it all. If that's the case, then we need to be present. And if you haven't heard gratitude, the episode on gratitude, I'm going to put that in the show notes, because gratitude is going to help with you being present in life. Learning to appreciate what it is that we have versus looking over the hill and seeing what it is that they have or what it is that we want that we don't have yet. Learning to appreciate what this is that we have is the quickest way to become present and the freest thing that we can do to bring ourselves here in this moment. And that will allow for us to see our plate and eat the food on our plate while it's warm. And what's crazy is when we eat the food on our plate, the chef sees that we're eating the food on our plate and brings us another plate, maybe with a more scrumptious meal. But we have to take advantage of what it is that we have. The experience allows for us to cultivate the wisdom that will prepare us to get to the places that we really want to go. And then when we get there, it'll be now, right? So if we think about that conundrum about time, like there is no tomorrow, because when tomorrow get here, it'll still be today. But we're trying to get away from the day to get to tomorrow. And then we're never anywhere. We're always in an unforeseeable future or an unchangeable past. And so, on my 33rd birthday, some people have called it the Jesus year. I say my birthday is on the 22nd, and now I'll be 33. There's a lot of alignment there. I just said that for the first time right now because I'm noticing it, but it'll be pretty cool. And with me in a meditation retreat as you listen to this, I want to tell you that the most important thing that you can do is experience the life that you're experiencing. Some of you may have tapped into this podcast today like, okay, what's the next thing that I can use that I can apply to my life to make my life better? And I hate to disappoint you. I'd love to disappoint you in this aspect, in this context. But the only thing that you can do to make your life better is to tap into your life. Tap into your life. Everything that you're surrounded by right now in this moment is there for you to be able to take advantage of, to grow from, to unfold around. This is it. This is it. The most important thing we could do is enjoy the experience. Okay, I take the enjoy part out because you don't necessarily have to enjoy it, but being appreciative of it allows you to be here in it. And then you can cultivate wisdom. And then you can use this moment for what it's for. Another thing with using this moment for what it's for, a lot of people don't use the moment for what it's for, and they continue to come across the same obstacles over and over. I don't want to pay attention to this life, so I'm going to numb up, or I'm going to go and I'm going to focus on that. But I'm learning there's these lessons, these potential lessons being put in front of me, but I'm not even paying attention to the lesson. So I don't have the ability to soak in what the lesson may be able to teach me. So I do the same thing over and over. I befriend the same shady people over and over. I put myself in the same low vibration environments over and over. I put myself in situations to be taken advantage of over and over. I get hurt, but not hurt in a way that breaks me open for more understanding and compassion, but hurt in a way that hurts me, and then I numb up, and then I come back like, okay, I'm ready again, and then get hurt again and don't learn from it. Being here allows for us to take advantage of what is being shown to us in such a way that equips us to cultivate the wisdom and knowledge that turns us into the people that we seek to be. This is huge. This is huge. And I think that's the biggest thing, the biggest jewel that I could drop on you on my 33rd birthday. So happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to all the other June babies. It's been a wonderful, magnificent ride here on You Feel That, the podcast. And I'm so looking forward to the next season. I know that right now I'm probably like, I don't want to say I'm brainstorming. I don't know what I'm doing. To be honest with you, I don't have too many expectations for this meditation retreat because I don't know what to expect. I've never been to one, and I don't know what type of insights I'll have, or if I get rid of insight in general because I tap into something deeper than I've ever tapped into. I do know one thing that I'm looking forward to is not having my phone. You practice renunciation at these retreats, so I'll be handing over my phone for a week, and I think that'll be the longest that I won't have my phone in my vicinity since forever. I don't think that's ever been the case. Like a week long where like my kids can't get to me, my mom can't get to me, like a week long, and I don't check my phone. I'm looking forward to it because I'm looking forward to what'll happen within. So, but yes, tap into your experience. Use this opportunity as a touchstone or reminder to look with the eyes of this being the exact thing that you need in life. This experience, whatever is in front of you, this experience being exactly what it is that you need in life. Instead of something that you got to get through to get to somewhere else, or something that you got to get through to get away from something else. That this is the important part. I love you all, and I just want to take a second because of the sentimental aspect of this being one of the last episodes I record in this space. I thank you all for being here thus far. I thank you all for hanging in there. It's 41 episodes. 41 weeks of showing up over and over and over. A lot of times not knowing what the fuck I've been doing, but just showing up and learning it and tapping into the experience and hearing from you all about how the podcast has impacted you and has allowed you to show up with intentionality and compassion and in understanding in your businesses and in your personal relationships and in the relationship with yourself. The stories I've heard about people who listen to this podcast are absolutely amazing. And I know we're still a baby here. I know just from looking at the data, which fuck the data. I know we're making impact, and I know that the data will continue to follow the trend of the impact that we make. I care more about how many people can I help. I care more about how many people can I serve, more so than what are the numbers saying and how many people are listening, blah, 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 blah. Well, that'll come as we continue to get deeper on understanding how we can impact people. I know this thing is going to continue to grow, and I have nobody to thank but you all. And so thank you. Thank this space. Love you, space. Love you all. Happy birthday to me. You know the deal. If you go leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, I know how many times you've heard these episodes. Leave a rating and review, and that could be your birthday gift to me. And when I'm talking about rating and review, I'm talking about those paragraph boys that allows people to see how much you love this show. We got to get this thing further out. We got to get this thing to more people. We got to get this thing to the people, not the people who don't belong here, but the people who would appreciate and are looking for our community. There's actually people who are looking for a show like this, who are looking for a community like ours, and they just don't know we exist. So let's help spread the word. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can also go down and click the link to join the We Feel That group on Facebook. And if this episode has added anything to your life, consider joining the Patreon. For $10 a month, you get occasional extra episodes. I'll pop in and drop nuggets of wisdom. But most importantly, it's kind of like the public broadcasting station, brought to you by viewers like you. You help us continue to do the cool things that we're doing here at You Feel That. As always, be intentional, love on each other, and have compassion for your process. I'll catch you next time on You Feel That with Bryce the Third.